What's up, Bildungselite? Welcome back, and I have the honor to present you the reigning Mr. Olympia, Samson
Hey,
Dauda. Champ, welcome to the podcast
hey,
again. Thank you for taking the
thank
time
you.
and being back.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, man. Yes, yes, yes. We're back.
The pleasure is all mine because you're 2 weeks out from this year's Mr. Olympia, and I told you already,
Yep.
this is our little ritual because you have to come on the podcast in order to win.
Yes, yes. So we gotta make sure. I was like when we met in Germany, we said the same thing, man. We said we have to make sure we do it this time because
Yes,
it was
yeah.
a little charm. So yeah,
Because the only time we missed out was this year's Arnold's, and
it
we
was.
know how it turned
Yep,
out, right?
yep, yep, yeah. True. And it's like almost like now you almost like it's tradition becoming tradition.
It
So
is.
so yeah,
So happy to contribute
it'd be
to your
interesting.
next victory. I'm very happy for that. Well,
Thank you
Samson,
very
you
much.
just said
Thank you
we've met
very
in
much.
Berlin like 5 months ago, but it has been a year since we did our last
Yes.
podcast. And man, what a year it has
Yeah.
been. A lot has happened. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I know we have only limited time because you're on prep. And I don't want to keep you for too long, but maybe just let's go through those all
It's
these
like,
events very briefly.
yeah, sure. Yes, let's. It's been an interesting year.
So, last time we talked, you have not been Mr. Olympia yet, but only a few weeks after you
No.
won. And I just want to know, how did that feel to finally be on that top?
It feels absolutely amazing, man. It's like it's like having a life goal and a life dream. And people, we all have like big dreams of what we want to achieve in life. We all have this idea of, some people want to do something in their life and they have like these dreams they want to achieve. And we all know the reality is, life gets in the way. Not a lot of people get to achieve their life dream. Not a lot of people get to live it and actually achieve it. A lot of people set it out and something will happen in life and we get distracted and we move on and it just doesn't happen. But for me, this was my life dream, man. This was the goal. This was everything I ever wanted. This was it. So to have that moment of it, of you sticking with it year after year, time after time, even when things didn't seem like it was going to work out, even when it feels like, so many disappointment after disappointments and letdowns and difficult and getting back up and getting knocked down and getting back up. You have all these things that's been happening to get to sort of get you prepared for this goal. And then all of a sudden it happens and it's like, holy crap. It makes all the things you've been through, everything that got you that moment, you look back at it and go, I see why I have to go through that. And it makes it all worth it. So
Yeah,
it literally blows your mind when you stand there, you hear you go, man, you did it.
I
It's
still
crazy.
remember those times when you were in that hotel room in South Korea, prepping for that
I know.
show, being in
No,
quarantine.
5 years ago, September, 5 years ago this month.
Right,
And
right.
that's how crazy that is. Like 5 years ago, I was in that spot, trying to qualify for the Olympia, trying to find a qualification
Yeah.
somewhere in South Korea,
Still working
felt
construction at the site.
too work construction, running on the spot, trying to just chase after that dream. And no, come on, man, is it possible for me? And even then, it was just the idea of I just want to make it to the Olympia. It wasn't even
Yeah.
the idea of even winning. It wasn't even there yet. It was like, okay, I just want to make it to Olympia so I can be Olympian. That would be great. That would be it. And then you fast forward 5 years and you're here in this position now. And it's not like it went back really fast. You remember everything. You remember every moment. You remember every difficulty. You remember every show. You remember it all like it was yesterday. Like I
Yeah.
still remember everything that's happened. So you remember it in detail. So when you're here now, you look back at it, you're like, holy crap. Wow. It's more than a dream. It just feels like this is just crazy. It's incredible.
Did you actually realize it when Bob called out your name as the new champion, or did it take like a week or a year maybe to let that
You
sink in?
Honestly, it took a long time to sink in. It didn't sink in until months later because you stand there and you almost like you feel like, okay, you've worked so hard and this could be the moment. And I always say like it was that moment where obviously they go through the results and it's like fifth place, fourth place, third place, and then there's two-man left.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, let's have the two guys in the middle. And I remember very clearly watching every single Olympia I ever watched. I remember those two guys standing there, Phil Heath and Kai Green,
Yes.
AJ and Ronnie. Freaking, you could just think about all the names that have stood there in that spot, and they've said, "Okay," and still, oh, I knew, and that whole moment there, and you standing there going, "Holy shit, this is my time! I'm standing here about to experience what that feels like," and it's overwhelming because I can remember walking to the spot and I'm thinking, man, I've watched this moment happen to so many bodybuilders I looked up to over the years, time and time. And now I'm standing in this exact same spot. This is about to happen, and I'm experiencing it. And you're very aware. And this thing is like people think that you're kind of like spaced out and you don't remember. I remember every footstep. I remember every moment. I remember every breath. You are very aware of everything happening, and you're absorbing it, and you're in this belief that this is really happening. It's actually happening.
Yeah.
So when you stand there and you're kind of thinking, okay, what happens next? Is it gonna be the moment where it's like, you came second? Which for me, I'm like, fuck, I've already won at this point. I'm excited about that. I'm in this spot. Or is it gonna be the moment where you actually go over the finish line?
Yeah.
And it almost feels like it's too powerful of a thought for you to make whole. It's too powerful, the idea of this could actually happen right now for you to make whole. So you stand there going through it in your head, and it's like it's overwhelming. And then you're standing there and and they're going through, they bring their awards out and they're going through it, and Bob is calling it out. And at this point, I'm standing going, okay, we're both not the current Mr. Olympia right now. So what exactly am I looking for? Will he be saying and still, or will he be saying, oh, and new, or
Yeah.
I knew. I'm like, so I remember thinking about at that same spot going, what would be the saying then? I don't know what it is. And my mind is kind of just twinkling at point. And he goes, and he always goes through it and he goes, and new.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. And everybody cheered and the whole crowd went crazy. I'm like, I don't want to celebrate prematurely because I'm not sure what that means. And I remember at the time I was literally, that's what I was really thinking it out, going, is that me? Or is that, I don't, and then he called my name. And I was kind of like, oh shit. And that moment, it drops you, man. It feels like someone just took your feet from underneath you and you're floating in air and it just feels beyond. And it's that moment every thought, everything you can ever imagine, all the things you've ever worked so hard for all comes flooding in. Every difficult, everything, it all just floods in. And you're sitting there and you're just in utter shock and awe of what's happening.
Yeah, I remember lying on the couch with my little cell phone in my hands, watching the live stream, and I think I woke all the neighbors up because I was crying. I was literally
Oh
crying on
man.
that couch. And
Yeah.
you have to imagine how much impact you have on people all around the globe.
Man.
And you finally reaching that goal was so emotional for me.
Man. It really felt it, I mean, you could feel it in the auditorium because I could feel the whole place shake. I could feel the room, I
Yeah,
could feel the energy in it. And it's like it's so intense. And you're kind of like, you feel at that moment, before they even called out the result, you felt the room were waiting for you. You could feel it. And even at that moment, I'm thinking, this is unreal. Like this is just insane. I can't feel this kind of energy before. I've never felt something that overpowering for that positive and that all consuming. So you stand there and you're kind of waiting, going, okay. And that moment moves in slow motion. It
right.
really feels like inch by inch. And that few seconds feels like 5 minutes. And you're standing there going, okay, okay, okay. And it happens. And you know what? I always say, like, the results for me, when we do a show, the results are the worst part.
Yeah,
I don't mind anything else. I can do the whole prep over again. But that moment where they're about to give you your results, they are by far the most, like, they almost feel like someone puts their hand in your heart and squeezes it. And then at the same time, they twist your stomach.
mm,
It's horrible. It's not a good feeling when you're standing there and you're literally your fate is about to be decided.
yeah,
And imagine like you're in court and someone's about to decide what's going to happen to your life next. At that specific next few seconds, you're gonna hear what your next chapter of your life is gonna be in that very minute.
right.
So you stand there and you feel every work, everything you've ever done, every struggle, all everything you've done is coming down to this next 5 seconds.
Yeah,
You cannot help but feel sick. You stand there and you're just like, I don't even know what to feel. So they're going through the results and they're calling each name one by one and each number. And if it's every call, it's like someone bringing a bell and it's just loud. And it's like your heart is just falling and it feels almost, you feel like you just all you want to do is run to the bathroom and go be sick. It's not, it's a very, very hard moment to be in, you know.
And your fate
It's
has been decided by Bob. And I can only
yeah.
imagine how your life has changed. You were a rich man all of a
Oh man,
sudden.
it's you know, you kind of obviously imagine when you imagine being Mr. Olympia, you imagine it as a title
Yeah,
of you're now around the best bodybuilder in the world. It's that we strive for. That is what we're fired up for. That's what we work for to say, okay,
absolutely.
I am the best in the world at this thing I do. It's almost unspeakable. It's just crazy. That's the one thing I say. But then you never actually stop to imagine how much just being in that position changes everything in your life. Everything
Right.
changed from that moment on. And coming off that stage, the minute I walked off that stage, my whole life changed. Everything changed in my whole life from that point.
Can you get a bit more specific? So, what has really
So,
changed just about your life?
so you, the idea of Mr. Olympia, everywhere you go from that point on, from that moment when I left that building and I walked to the airport, we go to the hotel, everybody now calls you Mr. Olympia.
Right.
They know that is now a title. And you sit there going, holy crap, oh, yo, Mr. Olympia. And everybody, it doesn't even, everybody in the world knows Mr. Olympia. They know what that title is. They know, and that is something that is like, it's powerful. I never knew how much people recognize that title until I had it. And I was going to different parts of the world. And people were like, that's Mr. Olympia. And it's the most prideful and the most powerful title I can ever imagine to have. It's that it carries so much weight. And it really, and you feel like I represent this. So I have to carry myself in the most professionalism and the most way because this is a title that has been passed on from greats to greats to greats. It's a legacy that's been passed on, and now you have it. So the way you carry yourself right now is indicative of what this title means. So automatically you feel prideful and you feel honored to have it because you feel like, okay, this is something it means. And then as well, financially, your life changes financially now. Everything's changed. You bought a big house, moved to a different place. I bought my own gym. I got everything set up for me. Now it's like I mean, what happened in my life now is something that I could never imagine when I lived in a one-bedroom flat less
Mhm.
than what, 6, 7 years ago. It's like it's completely true done a 180 and you're standing and every day, even now, every day I stand around, I look around going, this is freaking insane. I can't believe I live here. I can't believe I own this. It's unthinkable. And you carry that, and then the idea of your mindset changes as well. Because it feels like you've proven what you set out to do. It's been validated, it's been stamped. That's it. Your confidence and your ability to believe in yourself goes to another level. Because now it's like I don't need to prove myself to anybody anymore.
Right.
Its proof is there. So you carry yourself with the idea of I said out years ago I wanted to be the best in the world at this thing. And regardless of everything that came along my way and all the obstacles I faced, I made it and I achieved it. That is a very powerful thing to have because at that point your confidence goes through the roof for everything in life because you feel like, you know what, yeah, I'm not, it's not about talk anymore. I've
Yeah.
done the action and I proved it. So you now have pride of saying, yeah, I did do this. And so it's a big boost of confidence. You approach everything else in your life a lot more different. You're upon everything else in your life a lot more reassured and much more confident in what yourself and what you're capable of, and the idea that yeah, if you put your mind to it, you truly can do it. So you tend to go into every other aspect of your life with that same confidence.
Right. So you're talking about confidence and pride, but what I was asking myself is it also some kind of a burden? Because you always hear about those professionals who actually reach the peak and
Yeah,
all of a sudden lose their purpose because
yeah,
they don't know what happens next. Of course, you
yeah,
want to defend your title, but
yeah.
you've been there. There is no more level up, right?
Oh man,
And
okay.
also, now your role has changed. You're not the person that is hunting anymore, but you are the one that is hunted.
Yeah, yeah. It's put it so like for the first few months, you first go to the exciting part and everything and all amazing feeling, and then you cross over to a different part of it. And the second stage is you get to the stage where you are now extremely lonely. You are now extremely isolated and extremely lonely.
That
You
sounds
don't
weird
have
because you would think that most people would reach out to you.
people reach out to you, but it's different in terms of your mindset,
Yeah.
extremely lonely one. Because you have a lot of people and a lot of noise around you. You can have that, but you're now in a position where not a lot of people will be able to understand the position you're in. So when you are in a position now where it's like, okay, as you said, you're no longer attacking them, you're not defending it, you're not trying to defend this title. It's a shift. All of a sudden you're kind of more guarded and you're more idea of, okay, this is the position I am. I've gotten to the top. There's only one place to go from here.
Right.
So you have that fear that comes endowed in you that, oh shit, this is something new. You've never felt that before. Okay. And then you feel like, okay, now you're full pressure. The whole world, now the pressure is on you all the time. So that's a lot of weight to carry all of a sudden. And if you're not prepared for it, it's like it hits you like a brick, like, oh crap, now I have all this burden and this pressure and everything else on me. And then you feel, okay, I would like to talk to somebody about it that's been in this position that I can relate to. All of a sudden you realize there ain't many people that have been in that position that can tell you,
True.
oh, this is normal. Yeah, that's fine. Or no, you got to do this. There's nobody who you can talk to and get for advice from. It's a
Have you
very
reached out to people like Jay Cutler or
Oh yeah, we
Khalid
speak as
or
well. The thing is, remember, there's a difference between speaking to people that are actually like your role models and idols and
Mhm.
people that are friends and family that
Exactly, yeah.
close. Because now you have family and friends and you want to have conversation, want to chat about what you're feeling at the time. But they can only understand so much because they don't know what you're going through. They don't know this. So that can now be a very daunting sort of feeling of, okay, I gotta get used to this. I gotta get used to the fact that although you're on top of the hill, you're now alone. But at the same time, you've got people around you, but they don't understand the full gravity from your feet and learn to be strong in that. So
Mhm.
this is where is something that it took me months for me to finally get more settled into that idea of the role of, okay, you're Mr. Olympia.
Okay. But relatively quickly, you decided to go on stage again, and which is rather untypical for Olympia champions to compete in the Arnold
Yeah.
Classics. You decided to do the Arnolds. Was that
Yes.
some kind of coping strategy to,
Yep.
yeah, was it?
Oh, thing is, I've always said to myself, I remember said before, I said I'll never be a one-show guy. I will never be the typical, okay, he just does the Olympia, we don't see him again, and we sleep on Olympia, we don't see him again. And I've always said, look, if I went on, I was always going to do Arnold. I was always going to do more than one show. I was always going to be around. I was always going to be active. I would look, your career, whether you like it or not, your career as a bodybuilder is a short one. You only
Mhm.
have so many shows and so many time for you to capitalize and do so much with it. And there's only so many times you get to bring your best and show up on a physique, show your physique on stage time and time again. If you only decide, say you're Mr. Olympia for 4 years, you only get to do 4 shows in 4 years. I still love competing and bodybuilding too much to settle the idea that I'm only going to compete 4 times for the next 4 years. For me, it's not. I love it being on stage too much to settle like that. So automatically, I'm like, well, even now, I'm saying automatically, I'm going to do more shows. I will do shows. It will never just be the one show year guy. I will never be that. Yeah, it might be one year I might decide just to do the Olympia, but at the same time, it might be a year that, but okay, I'm going to do a post Olympia show. Oh no, I'm going to do a show in this middle of this point. But I want the idea of bodybuilding for me is I love this sport completely, all of it. And I don't want to follow any status quo where they're like, okay, now Mr. Olympia only does this and that's it. That's your role. You don't move from that box. I'm like, if that's it, then I'm going to rewrite the rules. But I want to
Yeah.
be more and I want to do this my way.
I love it because, yeah, you are Mr. Olympia, but you still want to compete. You still want to show your love to the sport and for the sport.
Of course,
And I thought this was rather a courageous move because you had, well, okay, you had some money to win, but actually you had a lot to lose.
of course, of course. And the thing is, one thing I've always come to learn, and I've learned this, I've maybe it's a point of where I fell down and got back up so many times.
Mhm.
When you stop fearing the idea of falling, you reach a new level of identity where you can find things in this world you never thought you could. You reach a new level of you can check and move fine and approach things differently. So my idea is, look, you're always going to be a chance you're going to lose any show you jump into.
Mhm.
It's always going to be a chance that you're going to lose something. But just because you fear losing, does that mean that you don't move at all?
Right.
So people are like, oh, you did Arnold and then go, you lost. How did that feel? I'm like, to be fair, it sucked at the time. Yeah, of course it sucked.
Sure.
But
Who likes to lose?
Who hits exactly you? It sucks a lot, but because of that feeling and that pain and that feeling right there, I'm able to now take that and bring out the private product package I'm bringing in today because of that. Because I can tell you now, if I had to wait from the Olympia last year and wait all year to now be okay, I'm about to jump on stage now again. The pressure of getting back on the Olympia stage will be so overwhelming right now. I wouldn't taking it so lightly. I'll be falling apart. But because I already jumped on stage and I don't know, it feels like, well, the worst that could possibly happen has already just happened.
Right.
You got up, you dust yourself up, you got a thick skin, you're going back again. What are you fear? What are you afraid of now? You've
Yeah.
already know what it's like to lose as a Mr. Olympia. What else can happen?
So basically, you're saying that the defeat to Derek took a lot of pressure from your shoulders.
Yeah, it did. It took that and it gave me a new drive. Because as you
Exactly.
said, if you win Mr. Olympia, all of a sudden it's like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
I go for another one. Okay, what's next? But
Yeah.
then having that pit stop and that knock that just puts you down a little bit, all of a sudden puts you that point where you're now hungry again. And you're like, oh fuck, oh dude, I got a lot to prove now. Oh, I got a lot to prove now. I'm coming. So all of a sudden that raw anger and that rage of that ideal, I want to show something. It's now being refired up again. So that for me is something I'm like, okay, you know what? At the time it didn't feel like it, but it took months for me to get back up and get back into it. And I'm going, okay, you know what? I see why it had to happen. Because not only did it show what it was like when you're in that position that you're not untouchable.
Mhm.
It actually shows that okay, but you can learn from that point. You can make you a lot stronger. Every time you get cut, you always get stronger. Every time you fall, you always come back stronger. You've always done this. You've always come back stronger every time you fall down. So here's your next fall. Now you know exactly what comes next after that. It's a very, very powerful rise.
You've probably analyzed the show together with your wife.
Oh God,
What
yes.
have you learned from that defeat?
Well, one thing we learned from that defeat mainly is, I mean, the prep we had at that point, because it wasn't the best prep I would probably have. And to be fair, it's, I never like to say use anything for an excuse because the defeat was a hard one and we could have been harder, we could have been drier. We missed our timing by a few hours. We were good for pre-judge and for finals, but pre-judging we absolutely sucked at.
Hmm.
It was a frustrating sort of feeling to sort of see that and frustrating feeling to go through that. But at the same time, my body changes quite rapidly, quite fast from year to year. The same approach we used to pick me out for the Olympia, we tried it again, a few months later, and that all of a sudden your body has changed and adapted. It didn't work exactly the same when you go on stage this time. All of a sudden you're not as dry and as hard as you were previously. And you're like, what the hell? But it worked exactly this last time. So you now realize, okay, you have to now always, every time you prep, every time you have to always adapt your approach to what your body is like now. Months later, your body always changes. So we have to adapt that and realize, okay, well, we missed our peak on that one and we got caned for it. Okay, great. Okay. Now let's learn from that. Let's analyze what did we do wrong? How do we make it better? What can we do to fix it? How can we improve it? So you learn a lot more from a loss than you ever do from a win.
Hmm.
This is hands down. So being able to kind of go through all that and sort of dig through it and be brutally honest with yourself and say, okay, right, what did you do this prep that wasn't right? What did you feel? What was it that was different? And I kind of thought about it and thought, okay, you know what? Maybe my heart wasn't all in that prep. Maybe because we were moving, because the time with the prep, I was buying a new house, I was moving, I was buying a new gym, I was doing a lot of things at the same time. We were actually, because this was doing through December, January, February, I was
Right.
doing all that at the same time I was prepping for a show. Too much on the plate, way
Yeah.
too much, you know. And that must have affected me more than I thought at the time, because I thought at the time, like, dude, I'm great. What the hell? Everything's fine. And then it showed like, okay, you weren't paying attention to the details as much as you thought you would.
Yeah.
That sort of gives you a wake up call, like, holy shit, yeah, okay, you can't sleep like that again. But like I said, all these things happen for a reason, and a reason that you have to then go back and be honest with yourself, like, where did you screw up? Okay, there, shit. Okay, cool. How do I fix it? How do I be better? Because you have to be able to put yourself out and say, okay, yeah, I screwed up. Okay, how can I be better from it? So we took that lesson and we took that lesson hard, and now we're like, okay, you know what that means, right? You got a lot more to prove now when you go to the Olympia. So you want to silence this issue once and for all. So that's your goal.
I still remember that because I was reaching out for you for another podcast before the Arnolds, and we were trying to find an appointment, but we couldn't
Yeah.
because you were moving houses and everything was
Oh,
super stressful. You were very,
yeah.
very busy. Plus, of course, you had guest posings here, guest posings
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah.
And now everything has settled a little. You got your house, you got your own gym.
Yeah.
Like the last 6 months, were they like super productive, or is there anything that you said that you could have done better in the last months?
I mean, first, obviously, first 3 months all the way to March, there was a lot of things I could have done better all the way to March. I
Yeah,
was a lot of things on my plate, and moving to a new environment, moving to a new house, moving to a new place, having the idea of traveling a lot more as Mr. Olympia, all these things, they all landed in your plate in one plate. And you have to sort of now, okay, you got to figure out how do you live and achieve and carry on working forward with all these things on your plate right now.
yeah,
So the first few months of it was hard. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of things that you had to sort of wrap your head around. And as usual, it takes a lot of work to actually get that in. Hindsight would have said, okay, you should have not done the Arnold. You should have just focused on getting that part in first, and then decide to do it on good. But at the same time, I'm glad I still did that. I'm glad
yeah,
I did because at the end of the day, it taught me a lesson that I wouldn't have learned otherwise. And maybe that's the mistake I would have ended up making for this Olympia. So it's almost like I'd rather it happen at the Arnold than it happen now. So it's like you then go and think about it, okay, right, what do you have to do? And because we were trying to get settled in this new environment, a new place, a new gym and everything else, and we were trying to set up where we're going now that can best cater to me as a bodybuilder, as one of the best bodybuilders in the world. We're trying to address all our life and everything else, where we live, where the gym I go to, where how I get my food, everything about trying to make my environment perfect for making me my best. We're trying to get all these things set up. And it just be that we were setting up doing the Arnold prep. But then when the months come post March, April time, I open my new gym. Now we have everything set up perfectly. And now we not only that, we're used to the environment, the place we're in now. I've had months, I've gone through traveling, I've gone through the off season, I've come down, I've gone through the whole prep in this environment now. So I'm used to the gym, I'm used to the area, I'm used to the food here, I'm used to everything. Like, okay, I've done it for months now. I know I'm actually in the right place. I know we know what we're doing now. We're more settled into it. So it kind of gave me a lot of confidence coming into this prep because I was like, okay, for the first time, you're not in a gym by yourself. You now have complete, utter control of your environment to a T. The place you live, there's no noise, there's no external distraction at all. You live out in the countryside, there's nothing here.
mhm.
So this is as boot camp bodybuilding as it gets. There's nothing here. And the closest town is 45 minutes away.
Wow,
So so everything is now your the house, everything, you got everything in one spot to be the perfect bodybuilder. Now you've set it all up to be like this. You set it all, you picked out the machines. Every machine you picked out was exactly what you knew you needed to make your physique as good as can be. No, all of the things you do for recovery, your hot tub, the sauna, everything else, you've done it all so you have perfect environment for making you the best body you can be. Now it's all set up. Now let's use it and let's show people what that result of all that can truly bring to a stage. And the thing
right.
is, you're not going to have this. It's not something you're going to have for just for this year. This is something you've set up for years, so you can be in this sport and be at the top of it for years. So it's like you now had that. The whole setup is now set for you to do it. Now let's show the world what that looks like.
You're absolutely locked in. And there was a guest posting like 6 weeks ago
Yes.
where you shook up the bodybuilding word again because it seemed like, damn, Samson
Yeah.
is not playing the size game any longer. He comes
Oh,
in hard
man.
as nails.
So basically, I mean, we know the game. We know with me, it's the feedback we've got from the judges has been one simple feedback. Okay, we need you harder. We just need you harder. We don't care if you lose size. We don't care. We just need you harder because you're already round and bubbly.
Yeah,
You dropping 10 pound more, 20 pound more, it won't make a difference to us visually because you just look round and bubbly. As long as you're full, you're gonna look more impressive with the more shredded you are. So that's all we want to see. Is just you harder. For me, I was like, oh, well, exactly what I need to hear. I don't need to worry about it. Okay, let's go. So you come in with the idea, okay, you have one goal this prep. And as much as it is, our goal is the easiest one to hit. Amongst all the top five guys in Olympia, ours is the easiest one to hit. We don't need to fix anything. We don't need to change or grow a muscle group. We don't need to do any of that. We just need to get shredded. And once we do that, our goal, our fate is in our own hand. Nothing else anyone can do about it. That's it. So with that one track, clear, laser focused mindset of this is it. Just that goal. Your target's right there in front of you. All you gotta do is suffer as hell as much as you can suffer. You've done suffering enough times in your life. You know how to do it.
Mhm.
And just hit that goal. That's it. Don't worry about anything else, just that. So he was like, okay. So we immediately prep started 15 weeks out. Also the wall we had it. We didn't coast in, we didn't slowly taper in. We were like full on, foot on the pedal. Let's go. All the way through. So right from the moment prep, we were just burning ourselves. We were going straight at it right from the beginning of it. So we didn't show anything over. And then over 6 weeks out, we kind of said, okay, right. I already had a guest posing booked months ago. So I'm like,
Yeah.
you're going to be guest posing 6 weeks out. Well, you're going to have to have an idea of what you're playing around with this time. So I think we flew into Romania, Bucharest. We flew in on Friday, guest posing on Saturday morning. So we flew in Friday night. Friday for me, obviously we die hard all week. So Friday night is like my most horrible and the most flattest look. So I'm like, I mean, but the goal isn't to look good for the guest poser.
Right.
Always to look complete on stage. So I'm like, I'm just gonna get up tomorrow, have my meal, and go on stage and just guest pose, and that's it. Let them see what they have to like, because whatever they like it or not, whatever they see 6 weeks out, it's not what they're gonna see come another 6 week time, because I know how drastically my physique changes by the week. So I'm like, okay, so go on stage and go on there, got the tan on, and go on stage and got pose, and people lost their minds over it.
Yeah. And you have the genetics to put on size. So I think even with that radical diet now, you
Yep.
probably have improved the other muscles as well.
And this is it. Yeah.
Um, is it still like that you do not step on the scale at all?
Nope. I
So
don't
you
step
don't
on
know
the
your weight
scale.
right now?
I don't have an absolute clue. And always the same thing I was expecting. Because this is the fun part about prep, because I can go through the whole prep and not really care about my weight at all. It doesn't involve me. I just like, look, it's visual. They want to see you shredded.
Yeah.
Do you really need to know the number for that to
Right, right.
happen? No. If you don't look shredded, your number could say lost 10, 20 pounds. But if you don't look shredded, you keep going down. This is what it takes. If you don't look, you might be looking shredded, but your scale is not moving. It's still saying, oh, you're over 300 something pounds. So what do you do then? Do you then lose your mind and go crazy? No, you keep dieting down. So we don't
Exactly.
ever get scale. And all we always do is the same thing. The days before the show, 5 days before the show, week of the Olympia, that's the only time I actually check my weight to see what it is. And then the only reason I compare it to the last year's
Yeah.
Olympia, or compared to the last time Arnold. And I always do this same thing all the time with the tradition. Like, okay, I check it there. Sometimes I'm like, I don't even want to know until after the show is over. When we've done the show, then I can go back and look and go, okay. And I always get a video of it as well.
Yeah.
So I'll go back and go, okay, that's what you weighed. So, and I always love that moment, because it always intrigues me, because I always say, like, I have no idea what I'm weighing. I couldn't even, every single time I go on the field, I'm like, I wouldn't be able to guess. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm here or maybe I'm there, but I'm like, I don't know. I haven't checked it for almost 15 weeks. So I have no idea. So you get on there and you look at it and going, oh shit. And sometimes, most of the time, it's normally higher than I thought.
Yeah.
I always feel flat and small and whatever. And then, you stand on the scale, you're going, what did I say? And I remember in last year in France show, because I did France 2 weeks before, I didn't even know my weight then, because I was waiting for the Olympia week to test it.
Yeah.
So when I
Yeah.
got out of France the week before or 2 weeks before, I was like, I didn't even, I wasn't expecting them to weigh us in. And they did the registration and go, oh, we need to weigh, everybody's going to get weighed in. I'm like, oh, I was like, oh, and I literally go, oh, shit. So I went to my number and I was coming around, and
Don't
then
tell me. Don't tell me.
the whole room was smiling, and everybody's going, all right, get on the scale. And I'm just like, and obviously I'm curious myself. So I'm
Yeah,
just like,
sure.
yeah. I'm like, okay. So I shut up, and I can see everybody's phones come out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I stood on it. And I'm like, I literally don't know. So I stood on it and I looked down on it, and it was 304 pounds. And I was like, I looked around, and everybody was like, what? And I was like, oh shit. I was like, look, I'm just as surprised as you are. So don't worry about it. So it's like, it's always the same sort of theme, and I always have. And it's just been a tradition now for us now since what, 2020s?
Yeah.
So I never checked my weight and scale until literally the week before the show.
And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if you would still be over 300 pounds,
I think
but
at this
way
stage,
more shredded.
knowing me right now, I can tell you probably that's because I'm gauging this basically on how my clothes fit.
Yeah.
I'm still over 300 pounds.
Wow.
Because I can tell this one, because I always know the point where certain t-shirts starts to feel like,
Mhm.
ooh, there's a bit too much room in this t-shirt. Or sometimes with the t-shirt, certain t-shirt tight in areas, I'm like, yeah, you ain't that small yet.
But
So
based on the looks in the mirror, you are the most shredded version of yourself ever,
oh,
or
oh yeah, because this is the one thing I pay attention to this whole prep. It wasn't I couldn't care about anything. It was like, okay, how much more new details can you bring out?
yeah.
And what areas can you bring out? I want details that I've never seen before. And every single time this prep, that's why I've absolutely loved this prep because every single week you suffer as hell. And they always start off Monday, it's Tuesday. By Wednesday, I feel like I'm a walking zombie. I'm just absolutely horrible. And then you get to like Friday and then Saturday. And then we go up and we do a check-in on Saturday. And I'm like, holy shit, that's new. That's new. That's new. Oh, I've never seen that before.
Uh-huh.
And I'm okay, shit, okay, let's see what happens next week. And that fires you up. So, okay, so when you're suffering through the week, you're thinking, I know by the end of the week, when I go look, I'm going to see new things. And then every single time it's like, oh, that's new. That one, oh, this is new. This is different. So I'm like, okay, you know what? This is making this prep a lot better.
So you're positive that we will be seeing the best Samson ever.
Oh, this one easy. Very, very easy. I mean, you always saw a part of it 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that was 6 weeks. I've had 6 weeks since then.
Okay.
Cardio, food cuts, more training, 6 weeks of it non-stop.
And you're not
So
the kind of person that becomes flat, right?
no. The most basically what you see me in that stage there, probably with the flattest you ever see me. Of
Okay. Wow. I'm super excited. So is there any competition for you?
course, the whole thing is a competition. Everybody, this is a
Well, if
competition.
you bring your A game and you're shredded as hell,
But that's what I
who
want.
can beat you?
Yeah. But then that's what I want it to be. I want to
Yeah.
the point we walk out and people look and just go, well, that's it. There's
Yeah.
nothing more. We can't do anything. There's nothing we can pick out. It's done. There's nothing left. And that's exactly what I want to be that complete. And that point that I think so many of all the criteria of bodybuilding boxes, every part of it, that you just kind of be like, well, he has no flaws. Because we're already at a point where most of the time we get on stage, before it was, oh, he needs more size. I remember there was a time they used to tell
Mhm.
me he needs more size. And then it's like, okay, he needs bigger arms or bigger shoulders. I had those two. And then there was, he needs a bigger back, a bigger, wider back. Remember, I had that for about 2 years. And
Mhm.
now it's, okay, he just needs to nail his conditioning. And that's all that's left. So we've gone through the whole notion now that the only thing now they can ever criticize or say about my physique when I get on stage is he just needs to be more conditioned. There's no other flaws left for you to pick out. So you tick this one, it's like, okay, what else can you say? There's a lot to improve on still because I still want to make everything more extreme. But at that point when you walk out on stage in shape, completely peeled out your mind, it's like, well, what can you pick out? What's left? Is everything is ticked, all the boxes are ticked. And that's what I want to be when I walk out on stage.
Mhm. Are you totally logged in, or are you even checking social media from other competitors? And who do you think is your
I
biggest
don't, I don't,
competition?
no, I don't have five. Dude, it's different when you're at this position, you're doing this. Most of the time, I know probably maybe other guys are different. For me, the more in prep I am, the less I spend time on social media, the less time I spend
Good
time
for you. Yeah.
what guys do because why do I need it? I don't need to. It's like I'm already in the point where I'm suffering and everything else. The more distracted I am from that world and everything else, I'm watching shows and podcasts and everything else. Most of the time, people are sending this stuff to me.
Mhm.
Dude, I don't want to see this. I don't care. I'm enjoying my time. Most of the time, I stay distracted. I'm always doing other things outside bodybuilding to keep me distracted from being sucked into this world because once you start looking, you don't stop. You start
True.
browsing, and every day you're browsing, and all of a sudden you now get in your head this whole idea of it, and it grips you and you can't let go. So you're now obsessively looking at everybody and looking at everything and everything. And then you just end up becoming a shell of what you're supposed to be because your mind is so warped by every opinion that you've seen. So I make sure that I stay very clear of that and I stay more grounded in the real world and spending time and doing things I actually make because I'm suffering anyway. It's horrible, it's prevalent. So I want to do things that I actually enjoy whilst I'm feeling this bad and things that make me smile and actually take my mind away from, oh shit, I'm so starving. When the fuck is my next meal? I'm horrible. I need to eat. I need to eat. I want to do things to get me distracted. So I like to spend time doing other things just so it makes the prep not feel all consuming.
I think that's the best strategy that you can use. Absolutely. Um, I have to ask you this question because this is kind of a ritual.
Yeah,
So, can you take out and will you take out Derek, Hardy, and Nick?
I've done it before. I've done it before, and it's I can tell you now, I'm going to do it again.
So that's definitely yes. Nice. Because I have to ask you, because otherwise this ritual doesn't work, Samson.
Oh yeah, of course. This one I tell you. Remember, Arnold 2023. Can you take out Rami, Nick, and I was like, yes, I can. And now
Exactly.
there we go. This one, yeah, most definitely.
I'm super excited to see you on stage. But before I leave you, because you're on prep and I don't want to keep you for too long,
Oh,
Urs, of course, all
yes.
the people want to know, how did you see Urs's decision to leave the classic division and join the open guys?
I think it was a good one, man. If he's something he wants to do and something he wants to grow into, why not? I mean, why not do? Why intentionally limit yourself if you know that there's a bigger goal in mind? Like I said, look, I'm living life where I'm going after my dreams, no matter what they are. And I want to live a life where I'm chasing my dreams, not just ticking along and ticking the boxes. I want to be able to say I'm moving somewhere. So if his goal was to be an open pro and be an open Olympian champion and stuff like that, why would you not go ahead and try it? So him going into it was like, well, duh. And then he goes in and he does really well, wins two pro shows. So hell, you can't. No one can sit back now and say, "Oh man, that was a bad decision."
Mhm. The actual question that I wanted to ask you is, do you think that if more open guys, more classic guys now decide to join the open class,
Yeah.
that this will or might change the way open lineups are being judged?
No. Because the judging for open criteria has always been the same, whether you like it or not. It's still size, shape, symmetry, conditioning. It has never changed. So when you have more competitors joining that have more shape,
Mhm.
you're still going to require size. You're going to still require conditioning. You're going to still require muscle density and everything and completeness. This is still criteria of the bodybuilding. This is still criteria, is it? Some guys will come up great, very great shape, not enough muscle. And someone else will walk out with enough muscle but not the best shape, and they'll take them out. Same thing. Some guys will be very lot muscle, not enough conditioning. Somebody else that's smaller, not enough muscle, but has the shape and conditioning will take them out. So the criteria for the sport has not changed just because you have more guys in it. It's almost like we having more people join the sport and compete. Does that mean that the criteria for the sport will now change because we have more people in it? No, if anything, it will solidify even more.
Mhm. I'm just asking because here in Germany, we think that the lineup determines the way it is being judged. So, meaning, like, if you have five people with a great shape, and there's this one bodybuilder that brings a lot of mass but does not is not as shapely,
Yeah.
he's the odd one out. So he will not be as placed as high as the others. And if
No,
more
no,
classic guys now join the open class, maybe
yeah.
that the priority shifts a little bit more to the guys who bring a good shape rather than the mass monsters.
No, I don't think so. I think,
Okay,
look, okay, put it this way. You can have the best shape and condition in the world as a classic guy would not come in there. But would you ever be able to take out Nick Walker, an
right.
absolute mass monster with a freak? You stand next to him and you stand 10 classic guys next to him. He's a freak. And he will stand there and blow all of them away. And the judges won't say, oh, well, because the other guys are classical and they have nice shape, we're going to take this guy, this freak that we've seen with all this muscle, all this mass, all this hardness, density, and we're going to be like, nah, nah, that's not bodybuilding. Of course not. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way in practice, especially when you stand there and watch the guys walk out and they stand in a lineup. You might think that when you look at an Instagram photo, but it's a whole different ballgame when you stand there and watch the actual bodybuilding happen in front of you. The guys
Absolutely.
that are freakish, you just stand there and you just look at it all like, what the hell is that? Oh, what the hell? And that feeling right there of just, this is crazy. I've never seen someone look like that. It's so overwhelming that your decision is made right there. It's not going to be, okay, we're going to walk away now, take a few photos, walk away, and then look and go, okay, who's has shape? And no, the judges look at it and going, we've seen the most freakish thing we've seen. Yeah, the other guys might have great shape, but that guy is just a freak. He just looks absolutely overwhelming. I can't take my eyes off him. He's winning.
Right.
So you might have loads of guys, but it doesn't in a lineup, it doesn't change the criteria. The criteria is still the criteria. It's all about who matches the criteria the most that they're looking for.
So the best idea is to bring everything, mass, symmetry, shape, and that's you.
Well, that's what exactly why that's what drew me to bodybuilding in the first place. Bodybuilding wasn't, just be big. or just be shredded or just be have shape. It was a combination of everything. Is the most symmetrical, the most balanced, and the most iconic bodybuilder that has everything in one package. That's what it is. So when I started training, I knew I couldn't just, okay, I got to train one of my favorite muscle group. I'm going to skip calves, I'm going to skip legs. I mean, I had shit calves, I had shit shoulder, I had shit arms when I was in. But I was like, okay, if I'm going to be as complete as I can be, I can't let any one of my muscle groups slip behind. They all have to be growing evenly. So I have to get that build, that base, and build it up so that it's symmetrical. And then I gotta have enough mass. So I gotta now make sure I put on so much mass on there to make it look even more over the top, but yet not lose that line and that symmetry and that small waist. I gotta put that in there. And then now you don't have to add density into it. And so it actually complements that shape. And then now you have to have that razor crazy conditioning to really highlight that. So you are ticking all these boxes, and then your presentation comes into play. You have to be able to present this look like a freaking like a god on a statue, and you have to be able to present this on stage as well. So presentation that comes into play. So all these things, that's what makes the iconic, the beautiful bodybuilder, the perfect bodybuilder. That's all around is good. It has everything in one package, and that's what I try to. My goal is what I want to bring to stage is that a bodybuilder that, yeah, he might not have the best arms, but his arms might just be slightly lower than the best. It might be the next one down. Okay, he might not be 10 out of 10 in shape, but he's a 9 out of 10 in shape. He might not be 10 and 10 on condition, but he's a 9 out of 10 in this. But this one, so you tick so many boxes at the top end of every box is that when you then put it all together, he has the most complete person there.
And I think that is you because you bring the mass, you bring the symmetry, you bring the shape, you bring the posing, you know how
Yeah.
to present yourselves. And one thing I need to mention is that you are one hell of an ambassador for the sport.
Oh, thanks,
No,
man. Thanks.
seriously. I think it has been years since I have seen a Mr. Olympia travel that much and be open to people, be kind to people. Just the fact that you're sitting here in this podcast talking to me for an hour, 2 weeks out, shows how much you love the community, how much you want to give back. And I want to give you a big shout out for that and a big thank you, Samson, for taking your time and doing this and
Thank
being
you.
the person that you are.
Oh, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Like I remember what drew me into the sport, and it was, I saw the bodybuilders I was in position. I saw bodybuilders that are iconic that I looked up to, and I wish, for me, part of that, I wish that I could see them more often and see them coming out of town and stuff, come to our country and everything else. And you wanted to experience that more, and it feels like when you then have the chance to be in that position, it's like, okay, this is what influenced you to start this sport. You got to give that to someone else and influence somebody else to feel that way of, okay, I'm still inspired to want to do this as well. So it's something that kind of comes into play where he's like, look, bodybuilding has changed your life. Right now, the life you have is beyond what you could have ever imagined it to be in every aspect of it. You can't even sit here in a minute and complain about anything in your life. So you going and showing your appreciation for this sport and giving you all this is literally the smallest thing you can do. So that's why I'm like, okay, you know what? Okay, I might be tired, I might be exhausted, it might be a lot of work, but this has given me everything I could possibly dream of. So I'm gonna do whatever I can to show my appreciation for it.
And that's why I think you're the perfect Mr. Olympia. And I do hope from the bottom of my heart that you'll get at least one more year to be
Oh,
called Mr. Olympia and carry that name with pride.
oh, thank you very much. Definitely want to be able to do that. So thank you. Yeah.
Samson, best of luck. I'm pretty sure that now that we've recorded the podcast, you will win.
Oh
I'll be
yeah.
cheering for you.
Our tradition, yes, of course.
And I want you to make me cry again.
I will do. I will do. Thank you very much always for having me, man. I always enjoy this talk, especially when we're this close to the show. It gives me a chance to reflect, and it always feels like a good reflection right before I go onto that stage. And I really appreciate that. So yeah, man, thank you very much.
Thank you for taking your time and thank you for listening and tuning in. So please make sure to buy the live stream, buy the live stream or be in Vegas if possible. And
Yeah.
whenever Samson hits that stage, just scream from the top of your lungs
Oh, thank you very much.
and make sure to get this gentleman the crown again.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and please leave a comment. Support Samson. Follow him on his Instagram. If you don't do it, you're living on a rock, anyways. And make sure to watch the Olympia. Thank you for tuning in, and bye.